Hello, my name is Katie Fassett. I was a part of a wellness MLM for 6 years. It was during my second pregnancy, third pregnancy, then we had a pregnancy loss, and then my fourth pregnancy or full term pregnancy, fifth pregnancy, I guess. And I have gone through the gambit of just my mindset around my body and weight loss. And I've had postpartums where I lost weight really fast and where it took me a while, and I've breastfed through all of them. And I just wanted to share just the struggle of being in a wellness MLM and the body image issues that you can go that just occur because that's just the world we live in. And we're women, and when you're seeing other people get results and you're not getting as fast or vice versa, like it can just mess with your freaking mind, and it's rough out there. So I just wanted to share my experience of deconstructing what that was like. And this is also not anything against anyone. If you're in an MLM and you're loving it, like I'm not trying to tear anybody down. I'm just truly just sharing my story and just trying to shed light on just kind of the harmful things that can go on. And this was not anyone's doing to me. This was definitely a me thing, what I felt that I needed to do in order to be successful. And that was to be the skinniest, smallest version of myself so I could have the best after photos so that I get more signups, more people wanting to join me because I'm that much more aspiring. Okay. Let's get into it. Let's get started. So where did we leave off here? Let's get into things, shall we? Yeah, I left us off with just giving some more background to my story. And in previous or in future episodes on here, I want to go more into depth about my story and just like the progression of being in an MLM and how you get started and how it feels very natural when you're in it. Just the progression of things and how it's really easy to get completely obsessed with it and to get sucked into the accolades and the medals and the awards. And if you're someone who is just, craving that validation, and for me, I was a stay-at-home mom, and so I was just craving that outside affirmation of like, you're doing a great job. And it just felt really good to feel like you're doing good, like you're rocking at something, like you're good at something. When you're just momming all day with littles who can't really talk to you yet, it's just kind of lonely. Like, you're making their meals, you're picking up, you're just doing the mom stuff. And so having this outlet was something that just really gave me that validation that I was looking for at the time. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about something that might be triggering for some people. So if you are triggered by it now, and my goal is that when I make it big with this channel and when I'm raking in the dough, aka when I get my first paycheck, hopefully one day soon. I think you need to get to 1,000 subscribers and then you can monetize your YouTube. But whenever I get my first paycheck from YouTube, I'm going to invest in an actual microphone and not this little mini dinky thing because it like hurts my hands. Like I'm getting like carpal tunnel, like truly struggling here. But okay, moving on. So this is a trigger warning. If you are triggered by eating disorders, body dysmorphia, losing weight, anything in that realm of space, this may not be the one. This may not be the episode for you. So, warning you now, that's what we're going to be talking about. And with that, let's move on. Okay, so in the health and wellness MLM space, a huge selling point is the before and after photos. And I would say body more so than any, or Beachbody more so than any other MLM wellness company, like prizes themselves on the before and after photo. When I first started, I remember just being like thinking I was mortified of sharing that. Like, I don't want to share a picture of me in a sports bra and my stomach. And like, that's so weird. Like, I am not that person. I've always been someone who doesn't want to show my stomach. Like, most of the time I'm wearing turtlenecks or like a crew neck. Like I'm not someone who just likes to show my body. Like anyone who knows me, they know I'm a very modest, conservative dressing woman. Okay. So that was super outside of my comfort zone. But I quickly saw when I started that the before and after pictures are what will get you sales. And so like a good little MLM hun, I started taking before and after photos. And in my mind, I was like, okay, well, this is what you got to do. So I'll just do it. And like God made everybody's body and like, it's like not a big deal. And it's not like I'm going to be like showing my cleavage or like my butt. So I think it's fine. And I would always like cross-reference it to Scott and be like, hey Scott, like, is this too weird? And sometimes he'd be like, yeah, Katie, that's like a little too much. And then sometimes he'd be like, no, that's fine. Like that's just whatever. Like it's not anything. And so that begun my my start into doing before and after photos. If you've been following me for any amount of time, maybe not recently, but before this, I would share before and after reels, before and after photos quite a bit. And it truly started to mess with my mind. I would say the first 2 years that I was in this, it messed with my mind the most because I had just had my baby. So when I joined, I was 20 weeks pregnant with my second. I had struggled with my first pregnancy. I gained about 70 pounds. And I was one of those women where I did eventually lose the weight after that first one, but I had no muscle. I remember telling my sisters, it felt like breastfeeding, all my energy, every last ounce of anything was given to baby. I just felt like I just became a flubby person with skin. There was nothing, there was no muscle, there was no fat, it was just, everything was flat. I lost my butt, I lost my, this area, I lost all of that. And so when it came to my second pregnancy, that second pregnancy, I gained the least amount of weight that pregnancy. And it was kind of just an easy one. I mean, I hate saying that, but it truly was one of the easiest pregnancies ever. I don't know what it was about it. It just was easy. I didn't really have nausea. I didn't really have just any of the symptoms that I had with my first one. It was just kind of an easy one, which I think God knew I needed something easy in my life because the road ahead was going to be rough for me. Okay. But what was hard was that I really wanted to gain muscle and I wanted to have those before and after photos. And I wanted to just be the perfect little Beachbody MLM hun, okay? And no one told me this. I want to preface this and say that this is my experience. Not everybody's experience was this way. No one was telling me I needed to do this. This was me just being observational and seeing that hey, when that person shared their before and after photo and it was a big weight loss thing, they got a bunch of comments and a bunch of likes, and then I see that they got a bunch of sales. So this was just me deducing how these people were being successful with these before and after photos. And so I jumped on the train. This talk may just kind of bounce around, so bear with me. Something that was always concerning to me when it came to these things was the fact that a lot of body partners, it felt so there's new programs that come out every other month or every month, and it felt like anytime a new program would come on, these people would have new before photos. So it's they finished a program and they're look at these amazing results, and then a new program comes out and they're I'm down in the dumps and I'm super flubby again, and I need to get on this program. So if you need to get back on track, join me. And I always felt that seemed very yo-yo dieting. I probably would have done the same thing if I was in their shoes, but fortunately for me, I was always pregnant. So I always felt I had a journey of weight loss that I needed to be on. And even I would be sharing my before and afters of my growing bump. That was something that I liked to share. And I thought that was kind of fun. And so I would feel I felt my most just mentally not well with my body was the first couple of years in body. And it was the first time that I was really, okay, let's just say your girl has struggled with eating issues since she was in high school. Okay. That is just the story. I think most of us millennial women had some sort of bout of not eating right, binging, or not eating, or whatever it may be. My experience was when I was a senior in high school and I literally would eat nothing. I would have some yogurt and granola and an apple, and I lost starving myself. And then my freshman year of college, I gained so much weight because I just binged. It was I was restricting myself for so long that then I got to college and I was just stressed, and I would just eat and eat. And I gained so much weight that year, and I had so much acne, and it was just a struggle. And then things kind of evened out after that. But when you restrict yourself for that long, you will have just the binging afterwards, which is my senior year was restriction. My freshman year of college was binging again. And it was just rough. And I won't go into that, but all that to say, not over that yet. If you struggled with that, it's hard to completely be done with that part of your life. Okay, so I'm going to stop and I'm going to start again because I want to get into just more of my story with how the wellness MLM just totally messed with my head and my body image with Beachbody, and just the way that it messes with your head when you are a Beachbody coach it's sad, okay? And I don't know how many other women struggled with this, but I know I did have some Beachbody friends where we would talk about, like, especially the postpartum, you're already struggling with your body image. And then let's say you and somebody else were pregnant around the same time and, they're doing like the same programs with you. Well, then they're losing weight faster and you're just like, whoa, they look like they already have a six pack and it's only like 6 weeks postpartum and I'm still like flubby. And for me, I gained about 60 to 70 pounds with all of my pregnancies. So I always have a good chunk of weight to lose post baby. And that was really hard for me to see other people just like lose it so fast. And it just seemed like it was so much easier for everybody else. But I'm just going to kind of go through my progression with my body image and just the culture of the before and afters in Beachbody. So like I said, I was being a good little MLM hun and I was trying my best to do the before and after photos. And the sad thing is that like you get this positive reinforcement when you have a big transformation. And I remember the first time it happened for me, I had my baby in November. And then so it was December, January, February, March, April. So I was about 5 months postpartum. And I remember I posted a like progression transformation photo before and after. It was like postpartum and just I think it was like pregnancy, postpartum, and where I'm at now. I had so many comments on that. I wonder if I can find it. I had so many comments and I had people reaching out to me in my DMs saying like, Katie, how did you do it? I need to do this. I need to join you. And that was like, it's like that positive reinforcement, which is why people say, if you see somebody lose weight, it's nice to say like, you look really good. What I was saying is that it's nice to say like, hey, you look really good. Did you lose weight? But it also can just give that reinforcement to like, I only get compliments when I'm skinny. I only get compliments when I have lost weight. And so that's kind of where I was at. I was in this trap of like, ooh, when I have big results, people reach out to me and they want to join me. And when you're first in a MLM, people aren't just like coming to you all the time. Especially at the beginning, people were not coming to me. My page hadn't grown. I hadn't had people just come and join me. And so having people reach out to me and even have like the positive reinforcement from my team and from like our bigger team being like, oh my goodness, Katie, look at your results. Like that was like a drug to me to be getting that positive reinforcement. And I remember I had lost so much weight that postpartum that people started to make like comments like, Katie, I didn't realize like you're so tiny. Like anytime I would like be at a Beachbody event or something like that. I remember I was at a birthday party and they were like, you've gotten really skinny mini. That's what they said to me. And I was like, okay, first of all, that was weird. So please don't talk to people like that. But it was in that moment. I remember I would go shopping and all of a sudden I would be trying on like my usual like size 6 or whatever. And it was like, I could fit into 0s or 2s and I had never been that way in my life. And so I had realized like, whoa, like I had lost a ton of weight. I had done the program Morning Meltdown 100, which is 100 workouts. And I remember working out. I was trying to finish that up and I would do like 3 workouts in a day to try to finish this workout because I wanted to be done with that program before I started 6 weeks of the work. Then when I did 6 weeks of the work, I lost even more weight. And like, it was just, I'd never been so small in my life. And I would get like, my before and after photos were like, pretty drastic because I'm showing my postpartum and I'm showing where I'm at now. And I would get comments and people wanting to join. And I also remember people being like, I wish I could lose weight as fast as you. And for some reason that also kind of like put something in my head of like, I'm not relatable when you lose weight quickly. So I should lose weight slower. Like I felt like I was just like trying to please people with my weight loss journey. Like what do people want to see? And during that time, so I had my baby in 2018 and then there was like 2019. Well, then all of a sudden like the body positivity movement was really getting big during that time. Okay, I need to make sure how's my hair looking? Anyways, the body positivity movement was getting really big. And so then I was pregnant with my second in 20, or with my third in 20. And I started to gain weight, which honestly, like whatever, but I gained a lot so you know how I said you have the restriction and then you have the binge? I felt like I was restricting so much that second postpartum and I was doing the containers and I was following all the things and I was drinking the Shakeology and I was trying to just be perfect. I just give up. I keep trying to do the back camera and not the front camera, but it just like keeps turning off and I'm trying to do the screen, whatever. we're just going to move on. And this may not be as good of quality, but we're just going to, okay. So I remember that third pregnancy, I like binged hard. Like I would, every time I'd have an appointment, the hospital was right next to the Dairy Queen. So I would go to the Dairy Queen drive-through, like literally every appointment, and I would get French fries and, chicken fingers and pop and all the things. And and like I said, I've kind of learned that it doesn't matter if I eat healthy or if I eat crap, I'm always going to gain around 60 to 70 pounds with each of my pregnancies. I've had 4 full-term pregnancies, and that's just what happens. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So in my mind, I was like, well, if I'm going to gain weight anyways, I might as well just binge, because this whole last year I was restricting myself and I was trying to get the best before and after photos, and I'm ready to eat some food, baby. And so I just ate, and I enjoyed that pregnancy. I also had a whole ton of heartburn from all the greasy foods that I would eat. But I remember telling myself like, ooh, this is going to be such a good like postpartum journey now. And that postpartum journey was very, very, very humbling. I remember just trying to get back into the swing of things. Like I almost had this like anger. And I think that's when I started to wake up to the fact of like, Katie, these before and after photos, they're actually not good for you. Like this is definitely not healthy. And I started to just like, I don't know, just rebel against it. So I was still doing my before and afters, but I also was just embracing my motherhood body. And so I think that's when I started to get a lot more moms on my page, because I just talked about like, this weight loss journey is slow and it's not easy. And I'm tired. And I have like 3 kids now, and I like trying to get skinny again is not the goal. It's just I need some energy and I need this for my mental health. And so that's when things just started to shift. And oh my goodness, the story just popped in my head. I remember this was after my second baby, my second postpartum, when I had gotten really small and I was just like really in the thick of wanting to get that awesome after photo. I remember doing a post and I was like, when you join my group, we all take before photos. And like, I thought it was a selling point. I'm like, when you join, we're all going to take before photos, and this is what we do, and this is how you're going to get results. And I remember somebody commenting, and they're like, this is like super messed up. I don't want to be a part of that. And like, that's not what I want to pass down to my daughter, is that like, she has to be so concerned about her weight. And I remember like in my delusional state of mind, I was like, what? Like in my mind, I'm like, they're negative, but also I was like, I don't want that sort of energy. So I remember I deleted the post because I was kind of embarrassed. But like at the time when I was writing it up, I'm like, this makes so much sense and this is going to motivate people to lose weight, blah, blah. No, it didn't. It was just triggering to people. So anyways, the third postpartum, I feel like I just started to reject the before and afters. Like I was like, you know what? I'm just going to share what I look like. And the results weren't awesome. Like the results were really freaking slow. And I remember like complaining about how the weight was slow, and people would be like, well, what are you eating? And I'm just like, I'm eating okay. But I wasn't eating well. So anyways, that postpartum, I just kind of like rejected the before and afters, but I was still just like kind of share just the slow, realistic progress of postpartum and breastfeeding and trying to lose weight. And that, honestly, I feel like I got a lot more moms to like be a part of my groups in that season, because I wasn't trying to be this fitness queen. And I think that was my weird little like niche superpower within Beachbody, was that I just like, I felt like I went so to the opposite side that I was like, that's just not me. Like I've never been someone who cared about being super skinny or super fit or super whatever. Like I'm just someone who, I want to feel good. I want to have energy. I want to take care of my mental health. And if I fit into the clothes that I like to. And so I had a lot of moms join me during that season of just like, we're in this together. It's a slow process, but we're doing this together. But then this fourth time around, I just feel like I just kind of had some wisdom under my belt. Okay. And I had come off a miscarriage, and it just was a lot smoother, better postpartum. And I just trusted my body, and I just knew what I needed, and I took care of it. And so I can't say that body was the reason for, kind of bringing in this body dysmorphia I was having. And I remember my husband saying to me, he's like, Katie's like, you need to stop losing weight. And he had said to me, and I say, I'm like, this fourth time was so much better and I had a way better mindset. But even this fourth time, my husband was like, Katie, when is it going to be enough? Because if you've ever dealt with body dysmorphia, in your mind, when you look in the mirror, you just see a way bigger person. And that's how I've always felt. Like I always see myself as the biggest I've ever been. And I'm still working through it. It's a lot better. But I remember my husband looking at me. He's like, Katie, when is it going to be enough? And I remember that second postpartum, he was like, you could probably just like gain some weight, Katie. He was like, just gain some weight. Like, that's fine. And I remember being like, what's your problem? You just want me to be fat? Like, my goodness. But no, he was just like, I think it's the pressure that women put on women. And in this Beachbody culture, it was like the more extreme your results and the more weight you've lost, it's like that's what's going to catch people's attention. And you get rewarded for it because you get more likes, you get more comments, you get more people wanting to join your group. No one wants to join the girl who just keeps gaining weight or who never has results and just looks the same. No, they want to join the girl who said she did a program and in 6 weeks she lost 20 pounds. That's who they want to join, because we all want the quick fix. We all want but you didn't realize that she did 2 workouts a day. She was only drinking Shakeology and whatever else. Like, there is some messed up stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And I've had Beachbody friends in this realm, especially postpartum, who would come to me and they're like, I just feel like I've never struggled with body image and I'm struggling with it now. Not my clients. And I feel like I never shared this part with my clients because I'm like, I don't want them to have these issues that I'm having. Like, this is a me problem. I don't want to suck them into my issues. So whenever I had a mom come to me and she was struggling, like it was just always grace upon grace. And it's one of those things where it's so much easier to give grace to other people than it is to yourself. So if a mom came to me and she's like, oh, like it's been, 10 weeks and I have only lost 2 pounds or whatever, like it's just taking time. I'm like, girl, you're postpartum, like give yourself some grace. You're doing amazing and the weight will come off. But then to myself, I'm like, you stink and you're not doing good enough. And you got to let's just say I am very happy I'm not doing before and after photos anymore. And I don't know if I ever will, because if you've learned anything in this day and age, those before and after photos, they're not always accurate. Those before and after photos a lot of times are staged, like someone is sticking out their tummy in the first one and they're really sucking it in the next one. And I will admit that I think the first year or two, like I would kind of get into that, like, ooh, this angle looks better. But the last 4 years or more, I was like, no, this is my body and I'm not going to suck in for an after. Like, I'm just like, people will see in a video that my body has changed. I don't need to suck in to prove that it's even more. Like, I'm just going to be me, let my body be. But that's why I just feel like those before and after photos, like I don't know. I have issues with it and it messes with your brain. It really does. So I like being inspired by other moms. Like, I see moms, lose the weight and it's inspiring to me. But there's a fine line between inspiring and between having body image issues. And for me, doing those before and after definitely didn't help. I'm not saying that's how it was for everybody. But for me, I remember when I did that Morning Meltdown 100 program. Morning Meltdown 100 is a Beachbody program. It's 100 days. You do 100 workouts in 100 days. And I remember at the end, like I said, I was doing like 3 workouts a day and my body was like rejecting itself. Like, I was so worn out. I was so tired. And I got on the phone with my upline and I was like, I'm so tired. I'm doing 3 workouts a day. And she was like, Katie, why are you doing 3 workouts a day? I'm like, well, I'm just trying to finish up the program so I can start the next program. And she's like, Katie, just give yourself another week, give yourself another 2 weeks. Like, you don't need to do 3 workouts a day. And I was like, yeah, I guess I don't. So it's not that anyone was forcing me to do these things or anything like that. This was just a me thing. This was a me problem thing of I always had FOMO whenever a new program came out. I always wanted to do it. I always wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to get those good before and after photos, but there is definitely a culture within the wellness space where you binge beforehand or you wait till it's like your week of your period and then you get your before photos, and then for the program then you can have your after photo when you're not on your period and when you haven't been binging food. And so there's just like, it's just, the internet is fake. The internet is so fake. And I just want to just breathe grace and peace and just letting your body be and do what it needs to do as a woman and in the season of motherhood and postpartum. And so I just want you to love where you're at. And it's just wild to me because I'll have people, comment and say like, where are your stretch marks? And I wish it was, this easy for me to lose weight and whatever else. And I'm just like, you don't know the full story. Like you don't see that I have stretch marks everywhere, like everywhere in my body, because I'm not like just close up to the camera with my body. Like you don't see what the behind the scenes is. So you just got to give people some grace here. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can't please everyone with your story and with your weight loss journey. So let's get in. I felt like I could never please people with my weight loss story. And having a weight loss story or a postpartum journey is not about pleasing people. It's just your story, okay? But when you're someone like me, who you're a people pleaser and you want everybody to like you, which I've learned that not everybody's going to like you. It was really hard for me to hear some of the feedback and the criticism that I would get. Like I said, with my second postpartum, I had so many people say like, you lost the weight so fast and, like you're so lucky and blah. So that always made me feel like, hey, but I also like worked my butt off and I'm like starving myself and I'm working out 3 times a day. Like, well, that was insane. But then with my third postpartum, I had hung on to that weight for way longer than I normally did with my first 2. And it was a very humbling postpartum, a humbling experience. And I remember I was like 14 months postpartum and I started the gut protocol. It's a program. It's like a nutrition program. And I did that program and I lost like the last bit of my postpartum weight and I was feeling really good. And then after I did that program, I stopped breastfeeding. And so it was kind of like happened at the same time. I did this program, then I stopped breastfeeding and I was sharing online like my progress and my results. And then people would come at me and they'd say, oh, well, it's just because you stopped breastfeeding and it's because you stopped breastfeeding. That's why you lost the weight. And it was so hurtful because I'm like I just finished this program that was really hard for me. And I know for a fact it's because of this program that I lost the weight. I did the nutrition. I was doing the workouts. I really focused on it. I really wanted to lose the weight. It wasn't because I stopped breastfeeding. Vice versa, my second postpartum, I remember people saying like, it's because you're breastfeeding. That's why you're losing weight. It's because you're breastfeeding. So I just felt like either they're telling me that I'm losing the weight because I'm breastfeeding or they're telling me that I'm losing the weight because I stopped breastfeeding. Like you cannot please people. And so that also messes with your head because you're feeling like you need to like defend yourself and your weight loss. And we're already dealing with enough crap when you're postpartum. So that's the last thing you want to deal with. Anyways, then my third postpartum, people were saying that it's because I stopped breastfeeding. That's why I lost the weight. And so this fourth time around, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to prove to people that if you want to lose weight, like you can do it, whether you're breastfeeding, not breastfeeding, like just trust your body. It knows what to do. And okay, I may get some hate for what I'm saying here. And I know that we're all different, but this is how it worked for me when I just started to take care of my body and I was healthy and I slept and I, focused on eating well and drinking water and I was breastfeeding, the weight came off. This fourth postpartum, and it wasn't because I was breastfeeding. It wasn't because I wasn't breastfeeding. I really just focused on trusting my body and knowing that it will come off when it needs to come off. And so for me, it was around like 10 months postpartum this time that the weight just really had come off and I was just feeling really good. And I breastfed, another 6 months after that. And so, I, I just believe that like, it doesn't matter. I don't care what you say, whether you think it helps you lose weight or whether you think it helps you not, or makes you gain weight or whatever it is. We are all different. And it just doesn't matter. I don't like, well, there's no reason why you need to go on someone's page and give them hate because you're like, well, you lost the weight because you were breastfeeding or you didn't lose it because of blood. Like, it just doesn't matter. We're all moms. We're just all trying to do our best. And I'm not going to die on that hill. Okay. So that's my story with these before and afters. It was something that I didn't want it to admit that it affected me. I'm going to talk a little bit about how it felt to be a part of Beachbody and to be at these events when you're with super fit. Something that I struggled with in Beachbody. And I'm not saying that this is how it was for everybody, but it definitely was for me. I'm someone who, when you're in this Beachbody world, a lot of it is, sometimes I felt like when I would get in those pictures with the other Beachbody coaches, I stuck out like a sore thumb. Like the top Beachbody partners, I just felt like they all looked the same. Like they all had like the blonde, straight hair, perfect teeth, super white, super fit, super tan. And you're just like, I guess this is what you need to be. Not all of them. This is generalization. But I just felt like I didn't quite fit the mold of what a Beachbody coach looked like. And in a sense, I feel like that was kind of my superpower because I think that people were drawn to the fact that I wasn't like that. And hopefully, I don't think I ever intimidated people. I hope not. I don't think I'm a very intimidating person, but you never know. I don't know. But just being at those events, being with super fit, tiny people, some of those Beachbody coaches I met in person, I was like, wait, you're that small? Like, I didn't realize you're that small. I know that sometimes people will say, like, when they meet movie stars in person, it's like their bodies don't even look normal. They're just so petite and small. Like, it's like Hollywood skinny is way different than like regular skinny. And that's how I felt sometimes meeting these like Beachbody coaches in person. I'm like, holy moly. Or vice versa. You could tell the ones who would like get the angles, the perfect angles in their photos to make them look smaller. And then you'd meet them in person and you're like, oh, that you do not look that way. Or like you could see that like you use a bunch of filters and that's not your actual skin. And wow, like the way you show up is very not the same way that you are in person. So it's just a whole different sort of world when you get into the MLM wellness space. And I guess my takeaway for you is to take those before and after photos with a grain of salt. Please do not compare yourself to these before and after photos that people share on the internet because you don't know what they had to do to get there. They could say that like, I followed this super perfect, healthy meal plan. Maybe they're depressed. Maybe they're, restricting themselves. That's just not even healthy. Who knows? Maybe they're struggling with something else on top of that. So, just be kind. Don't say like, how'd you lose the weight so fast? And that must be so easy for you. And it's because, because you're breastfeeding, or it's because you're not, or it's because you have way better genes than me. And it's like, just whatever. We're struggling with enough. But just take those before and after photos with a grain of salt because it's not always what it seems. And sometimes getting all that positive reinforcement almost makes it worse for the person who is dealing with those eating issues and with the body dysmorphia and the body image issues. And I am really working on myself this year to just accept where I am at with my body and to just be proud of the fact that I've had 4 healthy boys. And I just feel so grateful for that. And I just want other moms to know that like your body is way more similar to all of these other health wellness influencers, especially the MLM influencers out there, and that they're perfectly angled, perfectly shot, perfectly photographed after photos is not reality. Like it's just not. I don't know if I covered everything on this topic, but I hope it just kind of sheds some light on the mind F that you go through when you are in a wellness MLM. Okay, so if you liked this, please subscribe, please like and comment, and that just really helps my channel. I really want this to grow to 1,000 subscribers so we can start to monetize and we can just get into way more fun things. I'm hoping after I go through this MLM experience deep dive that I'm doing, we can go into other topics that I really love talking about, like curly hair and makeup and fashion and just mom stuff and things that I'm loving and things that I'm not loving, and just get to know each other more. So comment if you appreciated this behind the scenes look into being an MLM wellness influencer or not influencer, but just wellness hun, and just the trap you can go down, the spiral you can go down when you share that, dramatic before and after photo and you get all these comments and all these people wanting to join you. And it feeds on these habits that you're doing that are not actually healthy for you. So anyways, it's rough out there and we're all just doing our best. So thanks for watching, and I'm excited to come back with part 3.